Right, might as well do what everyone else is doing and take a look at some male privilege videos. Because if you're a man, especially if you're white, you're just a piece of shit. There's no getting away from it. If you're a man, you're automatically privileged, especially if you're white. You know, fuck white people, fuck men, pieces of shit. So without further ado, we're gonna watch men who haven't always been men talk about male privilege. Fucking kill me.
If you don't think male privilege exists, you are wrong.
I am being told by a Malteser that I am privileged. That was a joke. I'm not racist. Of course it's Lacey Green, the stupid bitch.
Gender bias is often ignored because it seems invisible and subjective to those who benefit from it. But trans men have experienced both sides of the gender-divided society, so I'm gonna let them explain male privilege in their own words.
Male privilege is the bullshit idea that men are better than anybody else.
Male privilege is the ability
Jesus fucking Christ, did this guy miss the operation?
to move about the world in the way that you want to.
It's the experience of being left alone and free to be yourself.
Privilege is also like the absence of experience. As a man, I have the privilege of getting on New York City subway train at 1 in the morning and don't have to worry about a man wagging his dick at me.
God, don't you just hate it when you see people on the train with their cocks out just whipping it at women? Like, I see that all the time. It's just annoying, you know? I hate when men whip their cock out on the train.
That is a male privilege that I like.
The first time I noticed I had male privilege was when I was walking home from hanging out with a bunch of friends who happened to be women. They had expressed being a little worried about walking home in the dark, and while I was walking, I realized that I had no worry in the world about being taught.
Right, I'm not being funny. If you're walking like that, mate, personally, I'd want to hit you. So if you're walking like that, you should be a little bit worried that you're gonna get fucking jumped by pretty much anyone who sees you, because you look like a fucking retard.
To or stared at or followed or assaulted.
So a man could just walk down the street and no one is going to bother him, no one's going to ask him to smile, no one's going to ask him where he's going, no one's going to ask him if he's married, no one's going to ask him if they can walk with him. But this is something that I know women experience every day.
Post-transition life.
Once again, did this guy miss the fucking operation? Jesus, look at him.
My God, walking down the street is so glorious. I can actually think.
First time I ever experienced male privilege was on social media. I've always been the type to express myself and talk real crazy. And when I did it prior to transitioning, it wasn't okay. But the minute that I transitioned and everybody looked at me as that male figure, it was like, oh man, that's hilarious. I'm like, hey guy, I've been hilarious all this time. So what are you talking about?
Right, let me stop you right there, mate. Every single girl I know on social media can post hi with a little fucking face, and multiple guys will find it fucking hilarious. Most girls I know could post anything on social media that they even remotely think is funny themselves. It isn't funny in the fucking slightest. They could tweet out like, my name is Jeff or some shit, and guys would find it funny, because they're fucking begs. So you must have been really fucking ugly.
An unexpected aspect of male privilege for me was being taken way more seriously than I was before, and it's funny because I have all the same ideas.
Right, this goes on about male privilege, but doesn't look or sound like a man, so we're gonna move on.
Still thinking about the same things, and yet sometimes I would literally just be talked over or laughed at.
People talk over you because your voice is fucking annoying.
Now people will often quiet down.
And having experienced that from both sides of the spectrum as female and male, I call bullshit on that right now.
Male privilege and sexism isn't just a problem for women, but it's also about liberating ourselves. Masculinity is very diverse. Masculinity is what it is to you. You don't have to be a brute.
Right, if you do that face right there, that is not masculinity. It's just not. It just isn't. You look like a sassy Malteser. Right, again, that was a fucking joke.
Don't have to be an athlete, and my masculinity looks like a man who likes puppies and babies, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I was in the club this night.
This guy is the only guy that I'd actually look at and think, wow, he could have been born a man. Even though he's got his pubic hair on his face, he kind of does look a bit like a man, so I'll give him that. Apart from the earring, but I'll give him that.
And my brothers are around. I think it might have been Single Ladies. Something came on. And I'm like, oh, the Single Ladies. Oh, the Single. And they go, you're a man now. Men don't wild out to Beyonce like that. And I said, but it's music.
No, it's not just music. It's Beyonce, and you don't do that. You don't just freak out to Beyonce in a fucking club. That's just not what you do. If you want to do that, go back to being a girl.
There's no one way to be a man. There's a spectrum of masculinity, and just like, be chill.
If a guy wants to really understand male privilege and understand what it is, talk to women.
Step back, listen to what other people are going through, ask them what they're going through, and I think you'll see that the world doesn't run exactly the way you think it does.
If I went up to a woman and was like, hey, when was the last time you experienced male privilege? 99% would look at me like I'm a fucking retard.
You're doing nothing wrong by having privilege. It's just what you do with it that matters.
Oh, thank fuck I'm doing nothing wrong.
I'd like to thank all of our guests for giving their time.
Right, so I think we've established that if you're a male, then you're extremely privileged, life is easy, no problems whatsoever, and you're also a piece of shit. Right, well that's it for this video. I want to fucking die after watching that, but if you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video.